I bet you've missed these guys as much as I have. It is finally time for the three chefs. Please welcome them. Michael Bonaccini, Massimo Capra, Jason Parsons, all here. You know, I hug you guys before the show, and you can tell because my face makeup is all over your white, so I'm not going to hug you again. We're just going to say it's been a long time. I love you all. I'm clappy you're back. We are making a lamb roast. Michael, you're going to make a lamb roast.
We certainly are. We're doing a lamb pot roast,
very
which is
nice.
very easy to do. What I have right here is, thank you very much, Jason. This, in the recipe it says shoulder of lamb. I couldn't find shoulder, so I used a leg of lamb, and this is exactly how I got it from the butcher shop. I did write the recipe.
You just changed the recipe.
Can anybody tell?
Went to the store.
Can anybody tell, really?
Leave me alone. That's right. That's right.
Looks like a shoulder to me.
So all the butcher's done is boned it, rolled it, tied it. I'm adding a little seasoning to the outside. We have
boned
a good.
Boned it, rolled it, and tied it.
That's right.
Sounds like 50 Shades. I shouldn't have gone there, but it was right there, and then.
It was right there.
Yeah,
yes.
I got lipstick on your collar, and they're getting tied up.
So all we're going to do is sear this off until it gets nice and brown all the way around.
So a really hot pan, as you can hear.
Really hot pan, as you can hear. You want to hear that sizzling. You know, this typically would take good 5, 6, 7, 8 minutes to get that roasting off and sizzling nicely. Okay. Just because you want to get that color and bring out the caramelization in it.
Smells
If the smoke alarm doesn't go off, you're
if
not
the smoke
sizzling.
alarm doesn't go off, you're good. That's right. A little more oil. Just pass the plate back there, would you, Jason? Thank you. So you can take the paper.
Okay.
So once that's all seared off the way it should be, we then lift that out of the pot. And I'm going to ask Tracy that you throw in the onions here for me.
Absolutely. And you want all of these in there?
All of those go in. That's exactly right. Or
so just a few onions.
That's plenty. There you go. That's good.
Just a thin.
Give that a good old stir. Now, once they start to sweat down, which doesn't take too long because the pot is really good and hot, you can add the diced garlic or the chopped garlic that I have.
Okay.
Right on the side there. Perfect.
Love my garlic.
You
It's so
got
good
it.
this time of year. If you're battling colds or anything, you want a lot of garlic.
And that goes really well with lamb, as we know.
Sure, that's what I
Yeah.
Then we've got some aromatics to go in, which is bay leaf, we've got rosemary, and some thyme.
Then do you just want these thrown in?
Just thrown all
of
in
them?
there. That's
Okay.
We'll pick them out later.
Usually you tie
If
them
we
in a
can
nice
find them.
little... What is it called when you do that?
Bokeh-ghani.
Too fancy.
Yeah.
It's too fancy.
It is a little
That's
too
too
fancy.
fancy. Today we're all rustic.
Pick it out
I
from
like
between
it.
your teeth, yes. So once that's in, sweated down nicely, you know, this will take another 7 or 8 minutes to soften those up.
Yeah.
We'll add our carrots.
We speed it up a little bit for television.
We do. That's what we do here. We then take... Fast forward. That's right. We add a little Dijon mustard.
Now you want your carrots, you did them kind of tiny.
I did them small just so that they would cook reasonably quickly. You could have them long pieces.
Okay.
It really depends.
All right.
We then add our canned diced tomatoes. In it goes.
Very nice.
We then add our meat back to the pot.
Okay.
We then add our chicken stock. And this is a moist method of cooking. So what we want to do is have this long and slow cooking with this.
Now, when you say long and slow, this whole process then is going to take a little while.
This will take a piece of meat this size about 2 hours, 2.5 hours.
Yeah.
Now, most people ask me, how do you know when it's cooked? You can take it out, cut a piece off, and if it's nice and tender and almost falls apart, you know it's cooked.
And if you immediately get rumbles in your stomach, it's not.
That's when it's
then you just go with it. If it's a little bit more difficult to chew and it's not as tender, then you put the lid back on and you continue to simmer.
Okay.
But you could do this in the oven at about 300 degrees. You can turn every 20 minutes or so whilst it's simmering, so you just flip it over.
Okay.
Or you could actually do it on the cooktop with a lid on, and again, just have it just simmering nicely there for a good 2.5 hours or a little longer.
Make your house smell great.
Yeah. A crock pot would be an excellent idea, Jason.
Oh,
Absolutely.
yeah, that's very true.
The slower, the lower,
Once
and the
it's
longer,
all
the better. Right?
exactly. Once it's all cooked off, this is what it ends up looking like.
Now this looks like a good meal. And we all know, you know, Easter's coming up. A lot of folks are going to be having dinners at their place or brunches. Like, this looks amazing.
So once it's all cooked up, the most difficult part now is making sure nobody gets the string.
Right.
And if they do, hey, what's wrong with they'll get a little string?
Dental floss.
Dental
It won't
floss,
kill you.
exactly. So all we do is we cut a nice big piece of the lamb. We put it on the plate, just like that. We remove the string or the dental floss.
Yeah.
We
Try to remember to remove the string.
Our vegetables now have all essentially melted down. The onions have become really the sauce. You just ladle over a good amount of that.
So good.
And then I like to serve scallop potatoes with that. And this is the scallop potatoes.
With melted cheese.
With melted cheese, cooked in a little cream, rubbed with garlic.
Very
That
nice.
is Happy Easter.
That is a happy
Thank
Easter.
you, Simone.
If you're
What do you
happy with that recipe, please give Michael a big round of applause. That was fun.
That's very kind.